If one of your top managers suddenly lost 20% of their division's production, in spite of the team working hard, holding meetings, and launching initiatives, what conclusion would you eventually reach? That they're ineffective. But what if I told you that same thing might already be happening inside your company and you don't know it? In this video, you'll discover how most consultants address organizational drag, why those solutions are only temporary, and finally, the one simple change that keeps it from coming back for good. But first, let's briefly dig into organizational drag and how it's usually addressed. Organizational drag is a serious drain on profits. According to Bain and Company, whose research popularized the term, internal friction consumes about 20% of an organization's productive capacity. If a company producing $40 million in output could eliminate that drag, it might produce 50 million instead with the same people and the same capital. Now, consultants love to talk about organizational drag in terms of decision latency, structural complexity, communication breakdown, and cross-functional misalignment. But the underlying problem is actually much simpler. And still, the impact is real. And that's why Tony Hsieh reorganized Zappos in an attempt to eliminate the friction he believed was slowing the company down. Organizational drag almost always looks the same. Decisions take longer, teams wait for direction, bureaucracy expands, and work slows down. The natural response to attack those symptoms are leaders restructuring departments, or they create new reporting lines, they launch communication initiatives, they install new process controls, and those efforts can help for a while. But eventually, the symptoms start moving again because they're attacking the symptoms, not the real problem. If this is hitting close to home, take a second to like the video, subscribe, and let me know in the comments where you're seeing this show up in your business. See, the real source of organizational drag is usually not process, structure, or communication. It's trust. When leaders don't fully trust decisions made below them, they start pulling those decisions upwards. And what happens is the approval process becomes lengthy. The number of approvals a leader has to make starts multiplying. That results in decisions slowing, and work begins to move up and down the organization instead of forward. Now, consultants will often respond by trying to redesign the structure. And Zappos is one of those famous examples. See, Tony Hsieh, the CEO president there, he attempted to eliminate the hierarchy altogether through a system called holacracy. But eventually, they had to roll back parts of it because structural change alone doesn't solve the problem. If leaders still don't trust the decisions being made, well, then the approvals keep coming back to them. And the bureaucracy, well, it expands some more. The organizational drag returns. Let me give you a real life example. When I owned my telecommunications company, one of the industry headaches was punch lists at the end of the installation. Small, outstanding items that could linger for weeks while crews moved on to their next job. See, customers had a functioning system, but they were not happy that the job wasn't actually finished. And at the company I came from, decisions like working overtime, coming back the next day, or scheduling the punch list for later had to move up the organization. Well, at my company, I handled it differently. And I gave the authority to my field supervisor and told him simply, when we finish a job, it's done. It's finished. And my intention is that every customer is completely satisfied. I didn't tell him how to do it. He figured it out. Sometimes that meant finishing the punch list at the end of a long day or coming back the next morning. We occasionally spent a little bit more on labor because of overtime, but we also completed more installations each year and significantly increased our revenue. More importantly, customer satisfaction and referrals went through the roof, and all without me getting involved in those decisions. And this is exactly how our military operates. When the stakes are life and death, leaders can't afford to review every decision, so commanders communicate intent. They define the objective and the constraints, and then the people closest to the decision decide how to execute. The one simple change that eliminates most organizational drag is this: communicate intent, not process. When leaders communicate intent, decisions stay at the lowest competent level, and work stops waiting for decisions. Teams move faster, and production, well, goes through the roof. But intent only works if the organization has clarity, and clarity is exactly what the right executive coach creates. So in this next video, you'll discover the mechanism great executive coaches use to turn leadership clarity into profit, growth, and company value. Or watch this video on how decision dependency triggers the key person discount and reduces what buyers will pay for your company.